Om. Greetings, Zenith, friends. This is your host, E.T., with another astrology video for you. Today, we are moving along our planets. In previous videos, we did a little bit about Mercury, a little bit about Mars, a little bit about the Sun and Moon, and now we're moving on to our favorite planet, Venus, the lesser benefict. Venus is goddess of love and beauty, Aphrodite emerging from the ocean. The spawn of Uranus, as well as other things that are related, such as Neptune, and a lot of minor asteroids that have to do with more or less love, love-making, lust, attraction, such as Cupid, Eros, and some others that aren't coming to me in this exact moment. So, Venus is from Uranus, coming out of the ocean, related to Neptune. In other words, I would say, and this is for another video, but for the video of Venus, we do need to take into account that Neptune is actually considered the higher octave of Venus. So these two are related. And just a quick overview, I would say Neptune is more spiritual, unconditional love for humanity, whereas Venus is mundane, physical, earthly, love, attraction, 3D, sensual love, right? Poseidon, Neptune, he's the god of illusion. This is more of the ethereal, the spiritual realm. Venus is more physical body, right? So, and especially the neck, which, like I said in my Taurus video, if you haven't watched Taurus, go watch Taurus and Libra, which are highly related to Venus. Taurus rules the throat, which is a sign of beauty. So, Venus is all about adornment. Venus is all about sensual pleasure. That means the taste. That means the touch, the smoothness of things, right? That means what is pleasing to the eye. All that is beautiful. Perfumes, that is pleasing to the nose. I've heard somewhere that the scent of smell is the closest sense to the spirit, right? So normally you can smell. Those that are highly acute in spiritual senses can smell negativity. So Venus is in alignment with this sensuality. What are they? There's sight, there's sound, there's touch. It's so funny. The five senses, right? And there's more that are just not coming to me at this moment. So Venus not only rules the physical senses, but also she rules money, income, wealth, values. Second house is the house of treasure, traditionally ruled by Taurus, which is physical things. But it's also the house of value. What do you value? And this doesn't have to be a monetary value. This could be a morality. You're moral. Yes. So, like for me, for instance, I value freedom. I value peace. this is what's in my house of treasure, you know? And different people value different things. You know, maybe you value relationships. Maybe you value having spiritual friends. Maybe you value, you know, living alone. Maybe you value, you know, oranges and having a garden, or, you know, this amazing latte. Oh my God, coconut. So when we look at the natal chart, currently cooking, excuse that noise. When we look at the natal chart, where someone's Venus is shows us the sweetness in them, shows us the magnetism, the attraction. It shows us what we want, okay? Venus in Taurus loves all the sensual things, like this display I've just had for you. You know, I've got a lot here, and Venus in Taurus would be like, yes. Venus in Taurus is also, you know, naturally beautiful. Venus in Gemini enjoys communication. You know, the riffraff, the back and forth, the conversation, the intellectual stimulation, and also, you know, I would say like literature, books. I would say that there's also some kind of, how am I going to put this? With Venus Gemini, there's also a love for some type of escape into, this little hair is really annoying me, sorry guys. Escapism through stories, through literature, through, you know, whatever it is. Third house is also the internet, also siblings, so these kinds of things. But, you know, like I've said in other videos, Gemini is a shapeshifter. It can be charming, but it's like these people can kind of show up differently in different scenarios based on who's in front of them. So that can get Gemini in trouble, because then you get caught in a lie and it's like, okay, you're not who you appear to be. Or you are this way to me, but I know once you go over here, you're going to be that way over there, so I can't trust you. Venus in Leo is all about performance. It's all about showing up. I think we have that transit happening right now in the skies. So here I am making a video. Lots of people, you know, are moving forward in their expression of Venus. Venus in Cancer loves to be nurtured, loves a home-cooked meal, loves to be cuddled, this kind of thing, and so forth and so forth. Venus in Virgo is very particular. Wants to, you know, fix a love, perhaps, or, you know, can be too critical, or be, you know, excellent writers, excellent at getting into the details of things, but very particular. Not a bad thing, just a thing. Venus in Scorpio is a little more intense, you know, prone to jealousy, depending on the frequency of her. Might as well keep going, right? Venus in Aquarius loves humanity, loves all humanity. You know, Venus in Capricorn loves status and wealth, baby. Give it to me. So, you know, Venus in Aries loves adventure, loves being a daredevil. It's not the strongest place for Venus, because Venus wants to lay back and be sensual and, you know, be fed all the fruits and things. And Aries is like, I'm ready for war. And so Venus doesn't really do very well there. But, or she's a little uncomfortable there, right? It's like taking Persephone into the underworld, even though that's not Venus. But still, they're related. Okay. like I said, Venus does super well in Libra. Oh my God, these people will charm the clothes off of you. These people are excellent business people. They can, excellent at sales, at making, at promoting whatever, attracting magnetizing um, that charm that Venus has in business and just in personality. Venus and Libra, I love that. It's so good. It's amazing. It's like everyone wants to be on good terms with Venus and Libra. It's so charming. I performed with a few musicians with this placement, and I've watched it happen. They can really light up a room. So this is an excellent Venus position. What else can I share about Venus? Everyone loves Venus. Like I said, she's the second benefact. We have two in astrology. Jupiter, which is spiritual, which is the greater benefact. This shit you can take with you into the next life. Venus, no. Venus is all about the here and now, the sensual pleasure, the love, the attraction, the magnetism. What am I trying to say? The ability to satiate the senses. Without good Venus lineups and synastry, how can that work? We have to have good, Venus alignments. Otherwise, love ain't there, honey. Or love ain't gonna work out in that way. And then especially if, depending on where your Venus is, determines what kind of love language you have. How you express your love, how you receive your love. Like I said in the Mars video, Venus is what we want and Mars is how we get it. So Venus is really what people value and what they actually want. And then depending on that, that's their love language, So it's really important in synastry, with partnerships, with romantic relationships, looking at astrology, the Venus alignments are extremely necessary. And she's a joy to work with. And I encourage all of you to get more into your Venus, because who doesn't love Venus? And when you look at all the planets, and we have what? We have two benefics, that's important. That's not a lot. That's only two. Not to say other things can bring you blessings as well, like Neptune and, really a lot of things. But these are the only two that are actually like bringing you this amazing blessings from the sky, from the ether, so that's not a lot. So Venus is very important, and if you're like me, you enjoy working with other people and understanding their Venus and how they show their love and how they wish to receive love. I think this is extremely important in relationships. And I think that's about it, That's all I really got to say about Venus. Venus will change in each sign. Venus will change in each house. Venus will change just like any planet will change, depending on the other aspects and alignments that's occurring with her, with other planets, and with other even asteroids, I'm pretty big on asteroids. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm actually pretty big on asteroids. I've seen too much to discount them. So depending on what's going on with Venus and her conjunctions, aspects, alignments, her mutual relationships with other planets, signs, and house will determine a lot. So not all Venus are the same. We have so many different, an endless amount of possibilities going on. And I just want to say, if you are one of the amazing people that are watching these videos as they come out, we are going to have quite a big Venus retrograde coming up here in Leo. In fact, Venus is currently setting its shadow. So watch out, pay attention, what's going on in your relationships, in your money, in your love life. You know, what house is this happening in? That's going to tell you a lot about what's going to be coming up for you in the next 40 days and 40 nights. Right, you've heard that before. And while I'm here, I'm just going to say that's the time that Venus retrogrades. So a lot of spiritual books use these kind of things, and people think, most of the collective believes, oh, you know, so-and-so went into the woods and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. No, we're actually talking about Venus. And over the years, these translations have become watered down, changed, manipulated, you know, to make the collective a little more controllable. But all spiritual books, if you boil them all down, if you come back down to it, there is one religion, and that is astrology. It is the story and the mythology of the sky that has been passed down into all these different religions. So I don't want to hear about so-and-so fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. That is actually the retrograde of Venus. And, you know, I could write an entire book. I could go, you know, I could create an entire YouTube channel on just picking this stuff out and deciphering it all. In fact, you know, I've studied this for several years. It has been a deep passion of mine, but a very lonely path, because there really aren't many people who can go down this road and really understand what's actually being said. And then, of course, a lot of people, and, you know, I've been there, I've been one of them, just get triggered by it. Oh my God, you're talking about, you know, this religion, so red flag, I'm triggered, you know, whatever. And that's fine, but to me, it is disheartening, because there's so much wisdom, there's so much power, there's so much incredible messages that want to pour through the cosmos in ways that common folks can't really, or don't. Not saying they can't. They're just maybe not there yet. And I get it. It takes one step at a time. And if you really dive into it, then you just become unrelatable. But the amazing thing is free from all religions. You know, you start to see through it. You start to be like, oh my goodness, you know. It's as simple as the 12 disciples and the Son of God, you know, moving through these 12 different signs. And literally, you know, just to give you a little bit of backup, I have spent several years devoted to studying literature, ancient literature. And I got to the point where I just became unrelatable to everyone I studied with. You know, ancient calendars, you know, ancient mythologies and how this tied into these things. A lot of these stories, especially of the Saturnian Abrahamic religions, they're way older than these, you know, relatively new religions that have popped up. So once again, astrology is the oldest science. Without astrology, you have no mathematics. Astrology is the oldest religion. Astrology is the oldest, the source of inspiration for all literature. With astrology, you know, comes all things, but don't get a big head about that. You know, it's a straight and narrow path. And once you go through, you know, once the camel goes through the eye of the needle, there's really no way to show anyone how to get there. So, I mean, maybe you have one nugget here, you have one nugget here. You know, maybe I have one golden nugget here and one golden nugget there. But, you know, not everyone knows everything. And just because you have one half-truth doesn't mean you have the whole truth, because once you start to learn more, you realize, oh, well, that was bullshit. And you learn more, and oh, well, that was also bullshit. So that's kind of how it works with this. As you climb the ladder, what you thought was true, which was true for you at the time, not because it was true, but because you believed it was true. That's another thing too. You alter your belief system. Whatever you believe in is true, not because it's true, but because you believe in it. So, celebrate the truths that you're at, fine, but understand this ladder is never ending. And just because you know a little bit about this and a little bit about that really there's nothing special about it. Use it for yourself, use it for others, use it to make your life better and to make everyone's life, but there is a problem where people get stuck on one truth for the rest of their lives, and I'm calling myself out too. And then what do? We set up posts around that truth and create a religion around it. This is the religion of whatever. But then the next day, you learn a new truth, and you realize, well, that was all bullshit. That's good. So, stay flexible, stay open, stay fluid. Just because you believe this at 9 years old doesn't mean you're going to believe it when you're 11. And when you believe this at 20, it may not be the same for you at 25 or 30 or 45 or blah, 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 blah. We are a new creature every day. We get to be born again, refreshed, new life, rejuvenation of the spirit. So take that into account. And with that said, I think that my rant is now over. This was my cap on Venus. I know that I got a little carried away in some other shit. But thanks for listening all the way. And thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, all the things I forgot and, my mind went blank when I was describing the senses. I can remember the psychic senses, but, sensual senses, come on now. All right, guys. Love y'all. Take care.